I'm Nar Cabico. I'm a graduate of Philippine High School for the Arts, and then I'm also a part of Sipat Lawin Ensemble. It's a group of the alumni of the Philippine High School for the Arts, theater arts alumni, and then we form a group and then create plays that are performed outside the theater. I encountered the short story Progress when I was in high school. I graduated from Philippine High School for the Arts. I took up theater arts, and if you are in the fourth year, you are required to do a recital. So we were under Herbigo. He was our resident theater arts teacher. He was also then the artistic director of Tanghalang Pilipino, the resident theater company of Cultural Center of the Philippines. And then he introduced the short play, the short story, and we read it, all six of us recitalists. And then at first we didn't really find a connection to it because we didn't have any idea about how to apply or how the bureaucracy works. But after reading the short story, Herbie required us to visit like public offices and actually just observe what's happening. And then we eventually, and also with the stories of our parents, we also shared it in class. We realized the importance of the short story, that even if it was already written decades ago, it still applies. The lesson still applies. So we decided to do a device work and then create a short play out of the short story. If I remember correctly, Herbie wrote a letter to him saying that this will be used as a recital for a school play. And then we were fortunate enough to have him there in our opening night. And then, of course, it was very nerve-wracking for us because we didn't know if he would like our adaptation. Because for the most parts, it was faithful with the short story, but a lot of the characters were just added based on our personal experiences, based on our encounters. So fortunately, after he watched it, he invited the entire cast for a lunch the next day. So we took it as a sign that he liked it. And then eventually, for the future runs, like in Pangasinan, when we did it in Bicol, he was there. So he really liked the play. Doing Progress, I think we started reading it during the first quarter of the school year. And then Herbie, our teacher, incorporated it with our directing classes. So it's a slow process. Like we chose scenes from the short story and directed it our own way, like interpreted it in our own interpretation per scene. So we were assigned specific scenes, and then from there, Herbie highlighted which ones worked, which ones did not really work. So one specific scene is from my directing piece. It's the minister's scene where the book is not. She would demonstrate. She would be lecturing Marina using the book. It's not really in the short story, but that device was carried on to the staging. So things like that. What else? We base it on the era, number one. So we found ways to bring the era to the short story and to the staging. So for the narrators, we thought of public school teachers, because since we will be talking about the government, I think we thought that it's best that we represent it through the teachers, the characters, the chorus as teachers, like a regular public school program. And then for the music, we actually used the melodies of tibak songs during the 70s, like yung Makibaka wag matakot. You will hear it during the play. Like it's been used. We just changed the lyrics, but and it's entirely based on real songs from the 70s. There's one song from Patatag that we used during in the middle of the play. So yeah, collaborative research effort. It's really a collaborative work done by the Sipat Lawin, Dulaang Sipat Lawin. That's what we call our theater group in high school. So there. When we were Marina as a character represents those people who are really ideal, who would follow the system accordingly, who would try her best to do things the right way, but because of inevitable circumstances, the character is forced to oblige with the system. So whenever we show it to any audience display, there's always a reaction that so are you telling us that if we are good we will not survive the system? So I think the whole point is for the people to actually realize that after watching is being good enough, being obliging or obedient, or being able to follow all the rules. Are those things enough to improve our system? Or is it because we're still a young country? If we are going to talk about the governance of the Philippines, so it takes one person to start the change with the system, with all the problems that are happening, the politics, the corruption. So yeah, it doesn't preach people to do this or that. It propels them to actually think deeper and realize what should be done as a citizen. The message of the play can come kasi in different ways, depends on how the viewer is seeing it. For some, probably if you're a public officer, you'd see it like, we're not really like that. So I think which is also a good reaction, because they would be starting to improve themselves. And for some teachers or some public servants that are really affected or moved by the story, they would probably agree that some of these things are actually happening to them and is still happening to them. So yeah, our intention is just to deliver the message of the play and not really wanting to have one reaction from the audience. Okay, the challenges of doing this play with non-professional actors. Non-professional meaning they haven't really done a lot of plays yet. But yeah, they come on time, they do their tasks naman. It's just that we have so little time, so we didn't really have the time to warm up with each other, do a lot of workshops. It's really, since I've done this play with different set of casts, they're like these new cast members it felt like they were used as a template for an already finished product. So it's like they just needed to wear someone else's costume and give life to it. So the challenge is for them to create something new, or bring new characters to the, even if they're just playing the chorus parts, or for the leads, to how are they going to give the roles a different flavor, their own twist. Well, the characters, it was me who played during the first run at the CCP. It was me who played all the supporting characters, and now recreating it allows me to see the characters in a broader perspective. Like, because when I did it, I was only 15, and as I was, aging, I saw that it's really different when a mature actor does a role. There's a different gravity to it. So especially for April and Bata, I can see the rawness that they're doing with the characters, and I like it because it's really fresh, and I think it keeps the play interesting. I because if it becomes predictable, then what's the point of doing it? Majority, they found the play very effective and very moving, even if it's a comedy and it only runs for less than an hour. So some teachers were really crying after the play because they felt like they were Marina Salcedo, the lead of the play. Some were questioning the system. There was a specific time when I think the audience was a school, and then after the play, some of the staff were like arguing with each other. That's how moving it was for them, that they just started to open up with each other in the audience area. So it's like after we performed, they were performing for us. So it's I think that's the point of this art form. It's a direct message, the direct relaying of a message, and then you have an immediate reaction from the audience. I keep saying sound sense. I think it's important that actors do not ignore sound sense. Sound sense is the sounds you make without the lines, like sounds like that, because it makes an entire difference if you put sounds to the lines. Some silence can be a sound sense. But it's something that's coming from the gut. It's something that's very instinctive, very natural. Before language was invented, I think people were just using sound sense to express their feelings. Even those who cannot speak, like the mute, they still have sound sense, like like when they're shocked or when they're happy. I think sound sense is the basic instrument of an actor to relay a certain emotion. Super uso the style of street theater during the 70s, because it's rebellion. It's rebellion against the government. So when we did this, we really thought of street theater like sa ikauunlad ng bayan, disiplina ang kailangan. That's why they had microphones, they were facing the audience, they were talking to the audience. So the baseline or the inspiration of progress is really street theater that started that really became meaningful during the 70s, because they were just not doing it for entertainment. They wanted to say something, and it was very risky for them. I think this play is also risky because it does tackle a lot about politics and corruption. So I hope the audience and the cast members enjoy Progress. I'm sure it has been enjoyed by a lot of audience in Manila, in the north. We did this in Pampanga, Pangasinan. So I'm glad that it's being done here in Cebu, and hopefully it will be done someplace else. I hope that through this play there's even it would inspire people to be better citizens. Hopefully it would inspire other artists who will watch this to create more works, and not just there are many short stories out there written by Filipinos, by amazing Filipino writers, and I think it opens a lot of doors to creative minds to actually stage something raw, something edgy, something fresh, something that is very Filipino, and something that's near to our experiences.